So, hi everyone, my name is Miguel Lopez, and we are the group. We are gonna report the chapter 3, lesson 1, learning to be a better learner. Lesson 2, do not just dream, make it happen. Lesson 3 is less stress, more care. So, first, I'm gonna report the lesson 1, learning to be a better learner. Next call. So, what is learning to be a better learner? The introduction is that knowing the self is not enough since who you are is partly made up of your choices. You must also have the ability to choose, especially to be better you. In the school setting, your knowledge of yourself should at least enable you to become a better student. So next call. So what is learning about? Learning is relatively permanent change in behavior brought about by practice and experience. Next one. So the factors of affecting learning. Characteristics of learner is like example nga lahi-lahi man jud kuan kitang tanan na intelligence napoy uban na dali maka-learn napoy uban na dili. So mao nang characteristic of the learner. And the second is the information or material to be learner. Ang the information of to be learner is kanang maka-apek na siya kung inform ka sa imong maestra na hinay mo signal, dili ka makakuan sa meet nimo, makawawa ka, mao na maka-apek sa imong pag-learn. And the material is the kuan, kang wala kay digital, wala kay phone, wala kay computer, kuan magisud kag attend sa meet nya moadto na lang kag sa computer shop para makapila na murag mahasol pa kamo na maka-affect sa imong pagka-learn. Nya, the lastly is the situation in which learning should take a place. So, the example of this is kanang while na nakas-meet nagklase mo nya banha imong kuan mong palibot murag maka-distract sa imuha, mao na maka-affect sa imong learn. Kailangan nimo na mo adto ka sa imong room, sa imong kuan kwarto nga malinawon kanang walay saba para maka-focus ka sa imong learn o pagka-focus ka sa discussion sa imong maestra or maestro. So next call. So the psychological basis of learning. So this is the brain that mao na sulod na maka-gain og sa learn diri mo kuan sa imong brain is cerebral cortex, hippocampus, and amygdala. So next one slide. So this is the cycle of learning. First is the stimulus of the environment. Second is sensory apparatus. Third is sensation. Fourth is reaction or behavior. Fifth is perception, giving meaning to data. And lastly is in the brain, data may be stored in a memory. Kanang madumduman na nimo. So this is the types of learning. Learning occurs in two ways: association or associative learning. The second is cognition or cognitive learning. Next slide, please. Next. So this is the associative learning. Associate, associating or connecting a stimulus to a response or response to a reinforcement. Mao na kuan siya sa associative learning. And the cognitive learning Learning through conscious mental activities like thinking, understanding, and remembering. So, the example, like, nag-inform imong maestro na mag-quiz mo ugma, nya, gihunahuna na nimo pag-uli nimo, kailangan na mag-study ka, unsay iyang gipang-discuss niya, kailangan nimo na sabto nimo ang iyang gipang-discuss niya. Pagka ugma na kailangan ka mag-review para madumduman nimo unsay discuss niya para natay ma-answer. So mao nang cognitive learning. Cognitive learning may occur in two ways: latent learning and observation learning. The latent learning is kanang ma-realize na nimo na murag nakabalok, murag na-learn na nimo bitaw kanang dali ra nimo ma-learn nimo na inganaon na din na di ay murag ma-gain nimo ang learn bitaw nya. Ang sa observational learning, like a student na mag-observe ako sa sa akong maestro kung unsay represent sa meat. Bali siya nag-istorya, ako nag-encode ako, nagtan-aw ra ko sa bali naminaw ra ko sa iya. Kunya para maka-gain kog learn sa iyang sa gipangtudlo niya. Mao na observational. Yes. The next reporter is Anton Navales.
Metacognition, introduced by John Flavel. Process by which a person is thinking about monitoring and observing his own thinking. Next, metacognition, na siya tulo ka component which is the knowledge, experience, o strategy. Next, the study strategy sir, na siya ikuan visual, gamitin na siya visual, physical, oral, verbal, logical, social, and the last one is the solitary. Sa learning style sir is have a plan as to when is the best time to study, start reviewing the most difficult subject first, have a specific place for studying, outline and write notes, use memory aids, take notes during lecture, study in group. Mo na siya ang mga learning style. So, nga po tayo managing your learning, self-regulated learning, self-empowered learning wherein the learning is active and self-guided in monitoring his own study. Mo na siyang kanang kabulo siya mo tanaw sa yang kagulingon ug asa siya komportable maka study og asa siya gusto mo ma dali ra ma-gain niya ang mga knowledge. So next, muna siya ang mga technique para makakuha kag mga knowledge nimo, gagamit nimo ang mga learning style. Muna siya technique. Have a specific learning goal in mind, have a learning strategy, be your own teacher, monitoring progress, reinforce yourself, evaluate your progress and goal, take corrective action, boost motivation. Next. Just remember, it's right to have some rest to detoxify and refresh your mind. Make time for self-care and then continue after getting energized.
So
Thanks all for the lesson 1.
that's all.
That's all for lesson 1.
So proceed, Mr. Kahis, to the lesson 2.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. So, our lesson for today is all about do not just dream, make it happen. Jack Canfield is an epitome of success. He has authored 7 books listed in a Guinness Book of World Record as New York Times bestseller, beating Stephen King, Macmillan 2017. this book are Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Second, the success principle, how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Third, the power of focus. Fourth, the Latin factor. Fifth, dare to win. Sixth, you've got to read this book. Seven, the key to living the law of attraction. So, the next. One of the Canfield's featured quotes about success is, by taking the time to stop and appreciate who you are and what you have achieved, perhaps learn through a few mistakes, stumbles and loses you actually can enhance everything about you. So, this quote by Canfield is, you have to appreciate yourself of what we are and who we are. It is all about the positive mind on us nga kana bitaw kanang di ato ilukdan atong kagalingon to move forward, ato siyang i-raise up, i-motivate atong kagalingon nga kaya natong ipadayon ang tanan ang tanan nga dili lang ta mag self down, kundi ato i-appreciate kung unsa ang naa nato, be contented enough kung unsay naa, magamay or madako ba nga butang, makontento ta kung unsay naa nato. Self-acknowledgement and appreciation are what give you insights and awareness to move forward towards higher goals and accomplishment. So mo ni siya nga self-acknowledgement, atong i-appreciate ang atong kagalingon, bisan gamay nga achievement nato, ato siyang i-acknowledge, ato siyang i-appreciate, ato siyang i-affirm kung unsa man gani na, ato siyang i-positive in mind nga kaya nato nga bisan kana nga butang, bisan gamay nga butang atong ma-achieve. Next. Bubudal experiment. In the 1950s, Dr. Bandura had study known as the Bubudal experiment. In this experiment, the sample children were presented with few social models of violent and non-violent behavior towards an inflatable rebounding bubudal. So, kani si Bandura, kung siya kanang na siya experiment nga gitawag og bubudal. So, kaning bubudal, kanang mo ni siya ihatag sa mga bata towards kanang expressing their emotions kung unsa lang ikabuno sa dal. Silbi ang dal ihatag sa bata, then ila express unsa ila kanang ibato sa kato nga dal. For example, kanang nga dal imo siyang i-violent, imo siyang patid-patiran, sumbag-sumbagon, imo siyang i-hug, i-kiss. So mo ni experiment ni Bandura. So the result were the group of children who saw the violent behavior model became violent to the doll. So mo to siya nga kung unsa man ganitong violent nga gibuhat sa mga bata katong mga control group, naman siya duha ka group, quasi group o control group. So ang kanang control group mo na siya nagbuhat og mga violent behavior towards the doll, then ang quasi group mo siya nagbuhat og good expression sa doll. Next. Well, the control group who was presented with a non-violent behavior model as rarely violent to the doll. So mo to siya nga agkato nga grupo nag-present or katong kita control group mo to siya nag-present sa violent reaction towards the doll. Then this experiment has proven that right the hypothesis that social modeling is very effective way of learning. Dr. Bandura introduced the social learning theory that focused on what people learn from observing and interacting with other people. Bandura's social cognitive theory states that people are active participants in their environment and are not simply shaped by the environment. So katong mga bata nga naka-express ato, mo siya yung mga signs nga kung unsa man gani ilang gipakita dito sa dal, mo to ilang naandan sa ilang environment. Next. Self-efficacy by Nugal.
Self self-efficacy theory. This is the summary of self-efficacy theory. In 2011, Webbe summarized Albert Bandura's self-efficacy theory. Self-efficacy theory is based on assumption that psychological procedures serve as means of creating and strengthening expectation of personal efficacy. Dr. Bandura defines self-efficacy as people's belief or their capabilities to produce designated levels of performance that exercise influence over events that affect their lives. Next one. This is the four advantages of self-efficacy theory. The, the high levels of self-efficacy enhance one's accomplishments and feelings of personal well-being. The second is self-efficacy helps one to remain calm when approaching challenging tasks. High self-efficacy increases one's willingness to experiment with new ideas. Self-efficacy, the part is the self-efficacy encourages one to set higher expectations for future performance. This is the joint effects of goal setting and self-efficacy theory. Individuals has confidence that given a level of performance will be attained. This is the self-efficacy. Individual has higher level of job or task performance. Individual set higher personal or self-set goal for his performance. Manager sets difficult specific goal for job or task. Next one. This is the four ways to increase self-efficacy. Inactive mastery. Gaining relevant experience with the task or job. Vigorous modeling. Becoming more confident because you see someone else doing tasks. Becoming more confident, verbal persuasion. Becoming more confident because someone else convinces you that you have the skill necessary to be successful. Arousal. It leads to an energized state which drives a person to complete a task. So my knowledge of this efficacy is the kinahanglan nimo ma-experience ang mga buhat or task aron makamao ka to become more confident and successful in the future nga di nimo kinahanglang i-down imong kaugalingon para nang alis para karon estudyante nga maglisod kas mga murag kaundangon kas eskwela tungod sa mga obstacles nga imong tungod sa kalisod sa imong kuan pero kinahanglan jud nimong i-pursue imong kaugalingon nga kinahanglan nga maka human ka sa imong pag-eskwela karon makuan imong future nga di ka mag kuan sa uban na unsay magbuhat sa istorya unsay imong angay buhaton kinahanglan sa imong kaugalingon nga makuan ka kanang tawag na porsigido ka nga maabot imong gustong maabot pareha ng makita kag uban nga kahuman og eskwela nga makatrabaho nindot nga makaadtog laing lugar nanglan gani mo nga ma kuan imong pangandoy aron maka abot imong unsay gustong maabot nimo na mas successful imong future. Next is Sina.
Sorry. I am Ermanel Licahes, and the topic is what is a mindset? Mindset is a simple idea discovered by world-renowned Stanford University psychologist Carol Dweck and decades of research on achievements and success. A simple idea that makes all the difference. So, your mindset is all your collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your thought habits. And your thought habits affect how you think, what you feel, and what you do. So, this is the main source of our action, which is our mindset. So, agkani siya mo ni siya atong una-unaon nga kung unsa atong giuna-una mao puy atong buhaton, di ba? Kung unsa man gani na nga kuan ka na mag-set ka goals nga mao na akong buhaton. So, if you have kanang courage nga makabuhat jud ana, mao na imong mabuhat jud. So, mura siya bandwagon effect nga, mura siya cycle lang ba. So, your mindset impacts how you make sense of the world and how you make sense of you. So, think about your intelligence, your talents, your personality. Are these qualities traits carved in a stone and that's okay? Or are they things you can cultivate throughout your life? Because they are related to mindset, it also helps to understand attitude and beliefs. Mo ni siya nga kana ato bitaw mga mindset nato nga atong giuna-una nga kanang what for example kana mga mythic mga mythical creature may ingana maghuna-una bitaw ta na mao na ingana nga kuan kanang mindset nato nga kung ingana man gani na mga aswang ana kung atong una-unaon murag mahadlok na bitaw ta sa mudong tagawas kay naraman sa atong una mindset naman na una naman nato nga kuan na so kung mahadlok na ta na di na ta kabuhat magawas kay mahadlok na ta. So next, so continuation attitude. Your attitude is how you feel about something. Your mindset shapes your attitude and your attitude reinforces your mindset. So bandwagon effect jud siya kayo kay ang attitude nimo maka-feel kag something nga kanang through your mindset makita naman sa kitay kung ako na kung imong inigtaon nimo sa tao masay ko na nimo ang tao nga ingana iyang nilihok ka ni kuanan kuanan naman nimo na mao niyang attitude. So kanang mura kag ma-aware nga ay nga di siya murag makuha na bitaw ka nga kanang murag mag-aware na ka nga kanang tawhana na di mga something ana. So next, beliefs. The basic building blocks of beliefs are ideas. Beliefs are like a tabletop. As you build references and experience, you add legs to your tabletop. When your idea feels certain, it becomes a belief. So mo to siya mga mythical creature, mga to siya mga beliefs totoo sa mga katigulwangan nga aton lang una mindset na po nato nga ingana di ay mga patotoo kung na mamatay bawal magnilig totoo siya na your belief shape your attitude. Kung katong imong una nga mga totoo kung katong totoo ni mga kanang mahuna-una ani mo silbi maapektuhan ko imong kagalingon nga silbi makuha na po nimo attitude ana nga kanang kung ingana man gani ma-apply pud nimo sa imong mga future pud nga mutuo ka na kay ika na sa mga sisters na mo to siya ma-apply nimo sa ugalingon nga i-share na pud nimo kay nga na liko no. Your attitude also shapes your beliefs. Ug kani mo attitude dato mag-shape pod sa atong belief nga kung unsa may atong attitude matuuhan na po nato kay kung ang attitude nato ato lang i-focus bitaw sa usa ka butang nga kanang ingana man di ay kung unsa na akong nabuhat sa karon sa akong attitude mura bitaw siya learnings para nimo nga mo to na po kay mahimong beliefs. Your beliefs and attitude shape your mindset. So kanang both beliefs ug attitude pare nakakuan sa atong mindset. Pwede po siya kuan reciprocal mindset mag-shape po siya sa belief and attitude. Next. What is a fixed mindset? In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic qualities like their intelligence or talent or simply fixed traits. They spend their time documenting their intelligence or talent instead of developing them. They also believe that talent alone creates success without effort. Their goals end up becoming about looking smart all the time and never to appear incompetent. So kaning fixed mindset, mo na siya ikuan ka ng introvert na person. Ako man introvert person nga kanang tawgalingon lang kanang kung unsa imong goals buhaton jud nimo fix jud kayo na jud kay time management sa kanang abutang imong goals nga buhaton na nimo siya then kana pud kuan kanang mindset kay mura bitaw kanang i-show nimo imong kung unsa imong naa bitaw intelligence nimo imong talents imong siyang i-showcase dili lang sa kuan sa percent kundi pwede po siya recording nimo. The next will be the last. What is growth mindset? In a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed and grow through dedication and hard work. Brains and talents are just the starting point. So kaning growth mindset, mabito na another talent at the first place nga kanang dili pa fully develop. Mao na siyang kinahanglan natong i-develop through learnings through kanang sa tawagan ay kanang cut-on sige tag cut-on tuon mao na siya maka-boost sa ato ang mindset. So the view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Virtually all great people have had these qualities. Teaching a growth mindset creates motivation and productivity in the worlds of business, education, and sports. So, mo na siya ang growth mindset na jud na siya kuan kanang dako po siya impact sa ato ang kagalingon nga dili lang sa atong kagalingon nga kanang enhance kundi sa ubang sa social food nga makay kuan po ta mag-gain po tag more friends kay lagi kinahanglan po na di lang kanang dependent person kundi hindi lang independent person kundi mahimo po tang independent person to learn something new sa ubang tao. So it enhances relationship and can help promote a healthy lifestyle. So mo to siya na siya dakong impact sa atong kagalingon kay nagkat-on ta then na-share pud ta then mao to it is a fulfillment para nato nga maka-share ta maka-learn tag bag-ong butang para mo-grow ta ug ang atong una-una. So that's for all.
Edwin A. Lack, goal setting theory, bibliography. Edwin Lack is internationally known as his research on goal setting. He was born on January 5, 1938. He is then professor of leadership of motivation at the Robert H. Smith School of Business at the University of Maryland, College Park. He received his BA from Harvard in 1960 and his PhD in industrial psychology from Cornell University in 1964. Next, goal setting theory. The goal setting theory was the first studied by Dr. Rock in the middle of 1960s. He continued to do more studies in relation to his theory. In 1996, he published another article entitled Motivation Through Conscious Goal Setting. The article is about his 30 years of researching finding of the relationship between conscious performance goal and performance of work tasks. The basic contents of goal setting theory are summarized in terms of 14 categories of finding discussed in the article. The 1996 first described that the approach of the goal setting theory is based on the Aristotle called final causality, that is, action causally caused by purpose. It accepts the axiomatic status of consciousness and volition. It also assumes that introspective effort provides useful and valid data for simulating psychological concepts and measure psychological phenomena. He then discussed the contributed of goal and his 14 research findings. Next. 14 research findings. The more difficult, the greater than achievement. The more specific or explicit the goal, the more precisely performance is regulated. Goals are both specific and difficult, lead to higher performance. Commitment of goal is more critical when the goals are specific and difficult. High commitment to goal is attained when the individual is convinced that the goal is important. In addition to having a direct effect on performance, self-efficacy, influence. Goal setting is the most effective when there is feedback that shows progress in relation goal. Goal setting mediate the effect of knowledge of past performance of subsequent performance. Goals effective performance by affecting the direction of action, the degree of effort exerted, and the persistence of action over time. Goal-simulated planning is general, when people strive for goal on complex tasks. Goal commitment, goal-related mechanism. Goals serve as a standard of self-satisfaction. That's all.
So, proceed, Ivan Osina.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. The lesson 3 is all about less stress, more care. Introduction. The American Psychological Association has this statement about stress. Stress is often described as a feeling of being overwhelmed, worried, or run-drowness can affect people of all age, genders, and circumstances and can be lead to both physical and psychological health issues. By definition, stress is any uncomfortable emotional experience accompanied by a predictable biochemical, psychological, and behavioral changes. Some stress can be beneficial at times, reducing a boost that provides the drive and energy to help people get through situations like some or work deadlines. However, an extreme amount of stress can have health consequences and adversely affect the immune, cardiovascular, neuroendocrine, and central nervous system. Since stress is inevitable to life, we have to learn how to handle and cope up with it. More so, we have to familiar with other approach to healthy lifestyle, which is self-care. Stress and human response. The American Institute of Stress has distinguished different types of stress and the human response to it. Stress. Hansel E. defined as the body non-specific response to any demand whether it is caused by a result of pleasant or unpleasant stimuli. Ang stress ay nagbibigay nagbibigay ng positibo o negatibong epekto ng katawan gaya ng napapagod ka sa work, paperworks. Yung mga napapaguran mo in daily life situation. Next call.
Exhaustion.
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 Use stress.
Exhaustion.
It is stress in daily life that is positive connotations such as marriage, promotion,
Exhaustion.
babies,
Exhaustion.
winning money,
Exhaustion.
new friends, and graduation.
Exhaustion.
Ito yung nagbibigay positibong epekto ng katawan gaya ng pagod ka sa kasal nyo pero napakasaya mo naman. Gaya rin ng nanalo ka sa loto. Distress. It is a stress in life that has negative connotations such as divorce, punishments, and injury, negative feelings, financial problems, and work difficulties. During both eustress and distress, the body undergoes virtually the same non-specific response to the various positive and negative stimuli acting upon it. So, ang distress ay nagbibigay ng negatibong epekto ng katawan sa mga problema gaya ng financial, mga work difficulties, punishment, sa divorce, injury, lahat ng mga negatibong nangyayari in daily life situation. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Sina. And this slide will be my presentation, and I'm Miguel Lopez. So, the general stress syndrome has three components. First, the alarm stage. It represents a mobilization of the body's defensive force. The body is preparing for the fight or fight syndrome. This involves number of hormones and chemical excreted at high levels, as well as an increase in heart rate, blood pressure, respiration rate, and etc. Second is the stage of resistance. The body becomes adaptive to the challenge and even begins to resist it. The length of this stage of resistance is dependent upon of the body innate and stored adaptation energy reserves and upon the intensity of the stressor. So, the alarm stage is kanang example na the body defensive forces. So, kanang magkuan tag mag-away, murag mo mura ni mao ning maka-effect sa mao ni siya kanang murag pas-pas mo heartbeat, mura pag high blood bitaw kanang mudakon mo blood pressure, respiration. Mao na siya kuan the alarm stage. And the stage of the resistance is the body becoming adapted to the challenge. So imong body mura bitog ma-challenge ka niya resistance stage resistance hindi ka pang mura bitog kuan murag mga reserves upon the city of the stressor. So mauna ang stage of resistance. Next call. The exhaustion stage. The body dies because it has used to its resource of adaptation energy. Few people experience this last stage. So, example, mao na siya nga nagikapoy imong lawas kay tungod sa example ning nag-training kag basketball, nag-jogging ka. Mao na ikuan, mao na effective na murag gikapoy ka na murag mahutdan kag hangin. Mao nang imong lawas ma-feel og weak kanang murag magluya ka kay tungod sa kapoy imong na-gain sa imong pagkuan. Tapos anong grabe na kay dagan nimo sa korto nya makuha na ka matimingan na pag manid kag sab kay gikapoy na imong lawas nya wala kay hangin. Mao na say exhaustion stage. Next one. Stress diseases. These are maladies caused principally by errors in the body general adaptation process. They will not occur when all the body's regulatory processes are properly checked and balanced. Next call. Chronic stress. This is an unpleasant event when it is transient, a stressful situation whether something environmental such as looming work deadline or physiological such as persistent worry about losing a job can trigger a cascade stress. Hormones that produce will orchestrated physiological change. A stressful incident can make the heart pound and breathing quicken, muscles tense, and beads of sweat appear. So, ang chronic stress is like kanang example like deadline karong kuan 11 PM unya ang time karon 10:40. Murag na stress na ka nagkaming na ka murag ni dali na bitaw ka murag kailangan ka mo kuan na mahuman jud na nimo murag na ma-stress po ka ba. Nya napay isa example po na naka-press anong nawat-an kay trabaho. Grabe ko ano man ang stress murag mabati na naman tanan stress, depression, like anxiety. So mao nang chronic stress. Next call. Fight or flight response. These are the combination of reaction to stress because it evolved as survival mechanism enabling people and other mammals to react quickly to life-threatening situation. So, ang example ani sa threat sa mammals para sa anang gilabayan nimong iro na kuan wa kakabalo na mamaak siya nya makuan na lang ka mudagan na lang ka makakuan kag stress bitaw bitong mangulba ka napil ka stress bitaw mga balaka kang mapaakan makakuan mao na say fight or flight response. So that's the last of the report. So thank you so much, sir. That's our report, chapter 3, lesson 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.